Steven asks, does it ever make sense to move a player to another position before he proves 100% they can't handle that other position? An example would be Noelvi Marte. Do you move him to third when you're pretty confident he isn't a shortstop to get him reps, or do you wait it out until you're pretty much 100% sure? I'll use Edwin Diaz on this. It's a different position, but I'll use Edwin Diaz. Nobody was 100% sure he couldn't start, or even 85, 90% sure, because he probably was going to end up a major league starter. But the timeline came into play, and the club was pretty sure that the chance he'd ultimately end up be a reliever, plus the value he could bring to the club so much sooner, just made that decision an absolute no-brainer. And I still rank that as the number one move that Jerry Dipoto made as the GM of the Seattle Mariners. I mean, it ultimately helped them land Jared Kelenic and Justin Dunn, for crying out loud. If Diaz had number one starter upside, they probably don't make that move, and they're just like, we're willing to wait because the payoff is so big. Or at least they don't make that move permanent. They're like, we think you can help us in the bullpen the next couple of years. And then, we'll try to win. And then during our rebuilding years, 2019, 2020, 2021, Edwin Diaz in that case would be your Justin Dunn right now, trying to stretch him out, help him become a starter. With Marte, there are already signs he's going to outgrow the position a bit. And sometimes defensive struggles, and he has had some defensive struggles, and the extra work necessary to kind of fix those issues, granted, he's only a teenager, they can get in the way of the bat developing or at least developing on time. And that's why they talk about catchers. The bat sometimes shows up late because they're spending so much time and energy working on handling a staff. The defense is so much more important at catcher. But that's why it could make sense to move Marte sooner rather than later. Shortstop is a very demanding position. And while third base is no piece of cake, an athlete like Marte sees that as a step down in difficulty. That's like asking me to sprint a mile and then saying, now you can jog it.